tomorrow they are coming to backfill the entire house. Now, I've started backfilling a little bit of it, but my guy is coming out because we are going to be digging up a lot of material on that side of the house and shifting it all the way over to here to build up for the garage. We've got a lot of height to gain and we need to bring that material. We have the material here on site. We just have to excavate it from other parts of the house, which kind of works out. But in the meantime, I am getting finishing touches done on the French drain of the house. If you don't know what a French drain is two things. One, it is a way to keep water out of your house. And two, it is a way to keep standing water flowing and not so you're building up puddles or kind of marshy areas in your yard and whatnot. We are doing a house French drain right now. What a French drain entails is a piece of corrugated and perforated pipe running the perimeter of the house. I bought mine with cloth on the outside to keep silt and dirt out of it. Then we're going to backfill with gravel. So this gravel is going to go all the way around the perimeter of the house on top of this. Then the next step is weed fabric. And we're going to use a lot of it. So now we put weed fabric on top of our aggregate, on top of our perforated corrugated pipe with its fabric on top. That way water is accessing this pipe, but nothing else. About a year ago, I went and helped a friend out who had this kind of pipe on their rain gutters. And because there wasn't fabric all the way around or whatnot, silt gets in, which seeds get in, which weed gets in, which clogs the pipe. And that's what was happening. Her drains weren't working anymore. So in order to get these French drains really, really well done, you need to protect them from elements like silt and fine dirt and weeds and things like that. And that's where this weed barrier and gravel and corrugated pipe come in. The whole purpose is to take water that's coming into the house or coming towards the house in any way and diverting it away from the house. So these are the layers of your French drain. And really, if any French drain follows these protocol, you're gonna be pretty good off. And it'll have a longer shelf life, it'll last and work properly, which is what you need to do. Something to note is that this sits below the footing instead of on top of the footing by the foundation wall. The reason you don't do that is because if it's sitting here for any reason, you're putting water right at this crease, and there is no seam in there, really. It's this concrete on top of this concrete, and as great as it is, it's not sealed perfectly. So this allows the water to come off that, pull away from it, and then get carried away from the house. Your French drain's installed properly, all the layers all the way around the house. Now what? What are you gonna do with that water? Now you've told it where to go, it's gotta go somewhere in that pipe. This is where this comes into play. This is solid pipe, and we are gonna 90 into this, and this is gonna put it in the back end of our property so that it's away from the house. This is gonna pull it away and tell that water where we want it to go. We don't care where it runs off back there. It's not a big deal at all. That's stormwater runoff, it's common, it's normal. We just gotta make sure it gets away from the house and not pooled anywhere. So we're gonna make our turn right here. So here's what I've come up with, because there aren't great parts to connect these. This piece is store-bought and it's supposed to connect corrugated pipe to solid pipe, but it doesn't work all that well. So I've done some fabrication on it. I cut off this outer ring so that it's the 3-inch that this is, but this is 4-inch. So that's how we're gonna go in between the two, if you're following. And then I have a street 90 that we're gonna use and a rubber coupler. This is all gonna work, and it's gonna be long-term, and it should last forever, honestly. One thing to keep in mind is that although we do want these to be sealed as best as possible, they're not pressurized. So really, we just need the water to know where to go and for it to go a place and not leak out or have other things come into it. So I'm gonna assemble my street 90 real quick, and my corrugated piece. We'll assemble those. Perfect. Now we just need to mark where we want this to go. I'm gonna cut it right about here. Gives me room for that 90. I'm telling you, if you want the best, one of the best handheld tools next to your drill, it's this little Sawzall. I have a big one that's corded, that's really invincible, but for a little workaround, this guy's it. I'll leave a link for it as well. Clean that out, get all of our material out of there, grab our glue, glue this side, glue that side, little debris, it'll be all right. We're gonna put that guy in, leave it right there for right now. The other half of this task is connecting this to this. So We pull back our sock just a little bit, plug it in, and you'll feel it clip in. And I'm gonna pull my sock back over this just to protect those areas. Now, I wanna measure kind of roughly, right about there. I'm gonna pull the sock back just a little bit so we've got some slack. And you'll definitely want just a good sharp knife for this part. This sock stuff is really pretty durable, which is super nice. All the way around. Keep cutting our corrugated pipe all the way around. Okay. This is a 4-inch coupler. It goes inside and it snaps on both. So shove it on to both. Come on. Come on, baby. Oh. There we go. Got her on. Pull that sock so that they overlap. Pull our sock back a little bit. Make sure it overlaps here. And you guys, we are in. Now, given this isn't the most positive slope, if anything that inclines just a little bit, but it's enough that it will push water out of here. And I'm not too worried about it. We just need a place to tell this water where to go once it gets here. And once it's below this foundation wall and footing connection, it's gonna come into here, which will flow out of there. So we should be really pretty good. Now the next step is to put gravel on top of all of this, and since it goes back into our trench going back to our power, we're gonna gravel all of this really heavily. Now that we've got our aggregate all the way down, we're ready for more weed fabric and then our top layer. Now, just to note, our French drain is our secondary line of protection when it comes to keeping water away from the house. First line of protection is the slope. One of the guys I got coming tomorrow to help me with that, he's gonna help me get slope away from the house so that the house still feels fairly level coming into it, but at the same time, water's not gonna wanna come to the house, it'll stay away from it. So this is gonna be just a secondary line of defense. But if both aren't in place, you can probably guarantee you're gonna have some form of moisture inside of it. And our home that we live in now, that was built in the 50s, they didn't do much for waterproofing the foundation. They didn't do much for keeping slope of material away from the house, and they most certainly did not put in French drains back then. So in today's day, this is what we really want to do. Now, that French drain is not code. It may be code in some places, but it is not code here, but it is something I definitely want to do to mitigate any future problems with water anywhere in this house. So you guys, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you don't want to miss out on any of this new house build, click that notification bell. Make sure it is ringing so that you get a notification every Friday when we upload. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. Bye guys. Exit strategy, I guess? No. Standing area. What that entails is, what a French drain entails is what a French drain, oops.